Hi, today I'm going to do a VR hashtag top 10 intuitive decks or just hashtag intuitive decks or top intuitive decks because I don't have 10, but this is a VR to Lisa Papez who shared 10 of her intuitive decks, and I could probably pull together 10 decks, but then I'd sort of have to stretch it, and she said that it's okay if I don't have 10 intuitive decks. So let's start with the first one, and this is my Magical Dogs Tarot deck. So with this deck, I want to show you what I mean with intuitive. So I have mentioned before that the Magical Dogs Tarot is the tarot deck that helps me with emotions because I feel so emotionally, spiritually connected to dogs and to dog energy. So when I look at a card in this deck, I can see the emotions. I feel like dog body language is so clear and vivid, and sometimes I understand it even better than human emotions or human body language, I should say. So that is why this is so intuitive for me to read. Not only just the art style and the detail in here is great, but also I feel like I intuitively pick up on the body language and the little faces of the dogs, and I feel like it's so clear. It sparks my intuition when I pull the cards from this and put them out on the table. I instantly understand what I'm looking at. I instantly understand the emotions behind situations. And even here, it's like they're like playing, especially here in the back. It looks like they're playing. And here it's almost starting to get from playful into a little bit more serious, as dogs can be. So I like that when you take a moment to really take a look at what we see in the card, I feel like it's very intuitive to read with. I feel like we're coming across all the aces here, and those are the ones that I like the least. I get so happy when I look at this deck. So that is the first intuitive tarot deck for me, the Magical Dogs Tarot. The next one is not necessarily a bit of a cheat, but I'm going to show you a couple of cards that make the Good Karma Tarot an intuitive deck for me. And intuitive for me is that I can get a meaning out of the card because of the images that isn't necessarily completely tied to Rider-Waite-Smith. So one of the cards that I have in mind for this is specifically the Page of Wands, and there are more. Like here, this one also feels different from the RWS, but it really makes sense. Like they're in this they're almost like on a meditation mat or on a yoga mat, taking some time for themselves, and we see this moment like the little judgment call. Here with the Nine of Cups, I feel like it's done differently, and I feel like it really makes sense. You can really understand what is going on and what they're trying to convey with the meanings here. Same here with the Six of Swords. Instead of leaving the swords behind, they're bringing the swords with them. And I feel like that sort of gives a different layer to the meaning. And here we can see the Ten of Wands. Yes, it's overwhelming, but they are looking super determined. And here with the Hierophant, we see something different. We see someone actually mentoring them and like equaling the playing field or equaling the levels, instead of the Hierophant being on top of these other like peasants. We see actual real teamwork going on here. That again, they are on equal playing field, but you can tell that they seem to have a leadership role. They have a creation role. Just a steadying down of the paper roll. I don't know. Here, this Page of Cups also feels different because he is an actual waiter and he's bringing something that is really alluring, I guess. The Magician is an actual rider. Here we have it. The Page of Wands, you can see that this is all about experimentation and trying new things, trying a hobby and sort of messing up, but also not really caring because he's so focused on just having fun and learning a new hobby. And this is one of the cards from this deck that I felt really called to for to call this an intuitive deck. It's also just one of my favorites, the Good Karma Tarot. Let's talk about the only oracle here, and that is the Prism Oracle. This is so gorgeous. I got this as a gift from a channel member. And this is all about colors. So we have all these cards that have one solid color and then with white line work and a keyword. And I feel like this is so intuitive because there is a lot of space for us to imagine things within this art, but also we get just one keyword. We get either an emotion or like something happening here. And I personally feel like it really hints, I don't want to say this, doesn't hint at, but it conveys emotions through colors really well and through very simple imagery. That when I pull a card from this, I don't just pull cards from just this oracle. I definitely use it with tarot, and I've done so in a couple of videos already, I believe. And it has just been really easy to read with this intuitively. I feel like one card can be looked at differently by like just any person, and that is what I think makes this such a good intuitive deck. That yes, there are colors and there's a keyword here that makes it pretty clear what this card is about, but there's still room for your own interpretation and your own intuition to sort of go wild with. So I really like this deck. This is the Prism Oracle. Let's see. Okay, so this one is kind of makes sense. It's called the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, and I got this also as a gift from the same person who gifted me my Prism Oracle actually. And this is such a stunning deck. Wow. I have talked about this deck in a couple of videos already. I have not shown it in any pick a card readings because I am using this for myself. I honestly don't know what makes this deck so intuitive for me, but whenever I read with it, this is such a stunning card too, by the way, with all the crystals and things. But whenever I read with this deck, the messages just come in. And I honestly cannot put my finger on what it is because it's not necessarily the images here. I don't even necessarily super love the aesthetic, the look of these images, but there's something that connects me to these cards when I do a reading that is almost unlike anything else that I have in my collection. And I find that wild, to be honest, that when I do a reading with this and I don't even need many cards, the reading always is just sharp, it hits, it makes sense, it knows me so well already. So I almost feel like this reads so well intuitively for me because it seems to know me really well. And I get the cards from this deck when I read with it, the exact cards that I just need at that moment. So I've already had a couple of moments with this deck that were really special and meaningful and confronting as well. So sorry that I cannot really be more specific about why this is so intuitive for me, but it just is that when I pull cards, I instantly get the message that I need to hear. I don't even have to dive really deep into it. I just sort of know what the message is and what the deck is trying to tell me, which, like I said, is unlike anything else that I have. So that is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. And the last intuitive deck that I want to share is my Lightseers Tarot. I wanted to do an entire video on like how I read intuitively with the Lightseers Tarot, and then I wanted to go through every card to share with you my interpretation of it. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm pretty sure it's still in order from when I decided to film that video. I filmed it or I started to film it, then I got at the Temperance card and I saw that I already had like a half hour of footage and I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that right now. And this is one of those cards that explains to me how I can read intuitively with this deck. Because the original Hierophant card is this person who is sitting up and trying to, I don't know, impose wisdom or religion or structure, tradition onto these people down at his feet who are being presented as peasants. And we don't see that here. Here we see someone offering their guidance because they truly want to help. They are more about, or they seem to be more about breaking down traditions instead of trying to hold them up like a traditional Hierophant portrays itself, to me at least. So that is one of the reasons that I love this Hierophant so much. There's so much more to the card, but this is not the video to dive deep into that. But there is so much behind these images, behind these cards, the people in here. I can really feel when I look at this that I am in this card, that I'm in this situation. I can envision what is going on and I can place myself in here and I get more interpretations from these cards than I can get from just a regular RWS clone or the original RWS. This has so much more to it. I really love this deck so much, and this really opened the door to me in regards to intuitive reading, I think. I think so. I think this is what opened up the door for me with intuitive reading. This is so stunning. And I didn't want to get this deck for the longest time because everybody had this, everybody loved it. And I was like, yeah, but everybody is like it's gonna be so overrated. It's not overrated. It is amazing. It is one of my best. Look at this. I love this Page of Swords. This is one of those cards that makes it easy for me to read intuitively, because instead of just someone holding a sword as if like, are you gonna swing it? What are you gonna do with it? And here we see them walking on a sword with bare feet. They have these light bulbs here, which is already a different meaning. Then we have them reading a book, which is another meaning for the Page of Swords. And it just makes sense, and it gives a layer of understanding of what this card is trying to say when I pull it. So I love the people in this deck. I really, really do. It's gorgeous. I love this Nine of Pentacles as well. Yeah. So, oh, this might be one of my favorite people in the deck. The Queen of Pentacles, absolutely. So yeah, that is the Light Years Tarot. So these are my top 5 intuitive decks that make it easy for me to read intuitively. I'm sure that I could have, like I said, have other decks that I read intuitively with, but these are the ones that came to mind instantly that I know I read intuitively with, that I can actually speak on, sort of how they spark my intuition. So I would love to hear what your intuitive decks are in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more tarot chats like this. I am going to try to go live every Saturday to cover world news and entertainment and provide tarot readings on those. So subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date to when I go live. I also do a podcast for which you can also get the video version in my YouTube membership for $1.99 a month, as well as access to our private Discord server. And you can book a private one-on-one tarot reading with me through the link in the description box below. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Click the video on the screen to watch something else of mine. And for now, I hope to see you next time. Bye!